Everyone. Welcome once again to the non-live session because live session didn't work out. So that's why we thought that we will do this recording for our followers, for our audience, and who would please not to feel disappointed that we did not share our knowledge, especially the knowledge of our guest today. Very, very warm, my very welcoming friend of mine, all the way from Turkey, where she was all prepared and ready for sharing her knowledge about the power of networking. And she is none other than Sandoz. Hi, Sandoz. Thank you for joining, and it's a pleasure having you. Before I start, I just wanted to have a small note on how the purpose of reengineering actually plays a role in our day-to-day failures and learnings, I must say. So this is something I think myself and Sandoz has been planning to come on live and share the knowledge where she thought that because she has experienced the knowledge of networking herself by traveling multiple countries. She will be sharing that more herself and but even though before preparing so much and after preparing so much, but at the nth minute when we are supposed to go live, it didn't work out. So in actual our life also it happens like that, like we prepared so much for our profession, for our career, but suddenly you land up in a journey or in your career where you have no clue on how you have landed. I also have the same experience. I'm an engineer, but even though after getting placement in one of the MNCs, Wipro, I was the only one who couldn't join my engineering along with all the brilliant students with whom I was friends because I met with an accident and I was bedridden for 6 months.
Oh,
Instead of that, I joined MBA. I did my MBA and then straight away I landed in UAE. So I have never ever worked in India where I did my studies for more than 18 years. So this is what life plans for you. There is a God's plan always.
yes,
And this
yes,
is how we keep re-engineering our life all the time purposefully, or it's like planned by Almighty where he puts up in a place where we have never thought of.
true.
And this is how I am planning to do this kind of bring such kind of stories where people have re-engineered their career, their life, their lifestyle, their health, their relationship, and they have found out their purpose and true happiness. On this note, today I leave the floor completely to our beautiful guest who will be sharing how she used her passion of traveling, making it into learning experience and building a strong network community across the globe. So warm welcome, Sandos, and thank you once again to come on this platform and share your knowledge and share your wisdom.
No, Mado, please don't say thank you. The pleasure is literally all mine, and I am very, very happy to be here. I deeply hope the live worked, but I don't know why it didn't. Like, I keep trying everything, and then it just didn't work. But it's okay. We're gonna find a way around it, and we're gonna fix it. And this is like why the re-engineered is here. We're like finding solutions to live problems, and we're coming to you guys with the solution. So don't worry. Even the technical difficulty with the live, we're probably gonna share how can you solve that if you face such an issue. But overall, all good. And thank you really so much for the warm welcome. Thank you for being my client and then my great friend. And thank you for supporting me always through everything. And okay, so let's get into networking, which is one of the very, very juicy topics that I really love to talk about. So I have to admit one thing that traveling have helped me grow a lot as a person and helped open my mindset through a lot of things. So I originally grew up in an international school anywhere. So I was always around different nationalities, different religions, and so on. So the thing is, from a young age, I learned to always accept differences. Okay. And from there, actually, I always had a passion for traveling. Now, I never got this chance because I became independent, like from my family, like I think in my second or third year of college, and I had to support myself. But thank God, I think in 2022, I got an opportunity to be sponsored by a company to go to COP27. So in COP27, I met such amazing people, people that really opened my mind. I learned a lot of things about what's really happening in the world and to our climate, and how we can, what things that we can do even in our everyday life to make a difference. The communities that are like mainly affected by the climate change and so on. And actually, speaking of that, when you're saying your story right now about the accident, you reminded me of, she's the first, and I think she's the, yeah, she is the first fashion activist in India. And I've met her in the United Nations. And surprisingly, she actually went to engineering, and then she had an accident, and she stayed at
Okay.
home for like 8 months or something like that. And she couldn't go back to engineering. So she started to find some passion with fashion and with the climate and with sustainability and so on. And then she became the first fashion activist in India. And it was like, see, so something
Wow.
like that. I have never even knew what is fashion activism, but through travel, I was able to actually learn something like that. So surprisingly, actually, the more that we talk about this, the more I can share more stories. But this is like something that was extremely inspiring. And now she's a top person and a top speaker in the United Nations. She was literally there in the same room as presidents and so on, just because of that shift. So sometimes you think like your whole life is going to end because of that accident. But then, as you mentioned, God has another plan and he has another thing. Maybe you don't see it in the time being, but maybe you're going to see it later.
Definitely. And saying that, how many countries have you traveled, and what actually made you to travel so many countries, and why you thought that the best way to network is to travel?
Honestly, I think I've traveled around like 10 countries or something like that. And the reason that like pushed me to travel more was related to networking. So the thing is, as I mentioned, I was actually sponsored by a company, and this really supported me like right after my graduation. So I'll be very honest about one thing. I was actually working, and the work that I was working in 2022 was super toxic. And I remember I always dreamt, like since I was 16, that I have to have my own company, I have to open my own business and so on. So my boss really triggered me to the point that I had to just quit my job. And alhamdulillah, like right after I quit my job, I met with the founder of the company that sponsored me to travel to COP27. And then he told me that we need to network. I need you to represent me in Egypt, especially that I was Egyptian and so on. And then when he saw like how good I was and how I was like introducing us and I was like talking both Arabic and English and so on. So then he chose as well to sponsor me in another two trips, one of them to Dubai, which is where I have joined many groups and I've met many people through the networking events and so on. And it's very funny. I went to Dubai, I think last year, February. And until now, I'm still gaining the benefits of going at that time. So this, see, like this was literally 1 year ago, but until now, I'm still like, eating from the fruits of this tree. And then after that, by some time, I went to India in April, and then another time I went to India as well to collect an award with my partner in India again in October, and we were featured, I think, in a couple channels as well over there. Then after that, I traveled to Malaysia, and then I went to Georgia and so on. So the thing is, every trip I actually met like amazing, cool people that introduced me to new ideas, new business ideas that inspired me to start my business, and in the same time that give me ideas to kind of incorporate within my business to my clients. And also sometimes I would introduce my clients to each other. So the thing is, when I see there's potential from one person to help the other person, I'll just
You
introduce them to
cross-fill
each
it.
other.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. So you
exactly. So
cross-refer.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
so the network, the whole network process really never really stops. Like even right now, I haven't really properly traveled for networking purposes in a while, but again, I'm still getting the benefits out of traveling all of these trips, like at the beginning of this year and last year.
So when you say that, like, traveling actually gains not only networking experience, but the experience of the whole country, their culture and everything.
Yes,
So
yes.
how it has impacted you as a person?
Oh, wow. Okay. So I think first of all, I actually kind of did a video about this as well. So I'm gonna tell you, like, if I'm gonna just get the highlights, I'm gonna tell you what I learned about each person. I mean, about each event that I have been through. So the things for COP27, for example, I have learned that literally farmers pass through a lot, and there's many things that we are not really aware of, that we should all care about sustainability. And if we're not taking care of our earth, then I don't know where are we gonna live, and Mars is not an option, from my opinion. So the thing is, like, we should just stay, and it's much cheaper, it's much better if we just start taking care of our earth. So that inspired me because, as I mentioned to you, like I was working in that toxic environment. So because of COP27, I decided I will never work for anyone again. I'm gonna start my own business and I'm gonna help others from there. So one of the things that I incorporated in every business that I'm doing is both putting a social cause and making sure whatever tools or basically whatever materials I am making my brand from is sustainable. So first thing is I started like something a merchandise with my brand Mission Elixir. And one thing we made sure about, even though that's like a bit more expensive, but we made sure that we use sustainable materials, for example. So the thing is, the thought process of being sustainable was one of the biggest things that I've learned. I've learned to be more conscious, even with my choices with purchase. Like now, if I buy a water bottle, like if I would keep like, I have to keep refilling the same water bottle, like really until like I can't just use it anymore. And I would prefer to actually, if I find glass water bottles, then I would prefer to just buy that. Looking
Plastic.
into, yes, and another thing as well, like I think some brands I've stopped shopping from completely. I think some of them are like Zara. I stopped shopping from Shein. So the reason for this is because some of those brands, they have like bad labor. Basically, they're not taking care so much of their labor, and they're not entirely sustainable as well. Lots of garbage goes into the ocean. Like literally, I think they measured it before. I'm not sure about the exact numbers, but it's literally so much kilos that are thrown out just out of Zara, for example, into the ocean and into
So does
some even poor communities.
has that impacted your buying behavior too? Like you go and you do research and then you then make a conscious decision of whether to buy a product from a particular supplier?
I think yes, absolutely. So it's the same thing. Like if I'm operating for my business and if I'm shopping, I do really care about that. Like I try my best not to shop from fast fashion as much as I can. Like of course, yes, sometimes I do. I'm not saying that I completely cut it off, but instead, even if I would shop from fast fashion, maybe I would prefer if it's handmade or maybe if it's made from cotton. Basically something that it's not like entirely polyester. So maybe if the or recycled polyester, for example, this is also sustainable. So this really did impact my behavior. Going to Dubai, for example, made me socialize with such amazing entrepreneurs. It made me feel like the limit is the sky. So the thing is, I have met people who were like literally talking to me. I have lost $3 million in this business. And after they worked for it for, I don't know, 8 years and I don't know what. And then they quit everything. They went back to work. And after 3 years, they started a business that made them like $10 million. And I was just so inspired how those people did not give up. Like a person lost $3 million. And even though maybe he paused for a little bit, but when he came back way stronger. And this really gave me so much motivation. Like one of the people I've met as well was Sadiqa, and her story was extremely inspiring. I remember when I met her, I was like very nervous, and then she like sat with me and she started giving me tips on public speaking and so on. One of the tips that she gave me is that try to eat a banana before you go in public and speak. Because apparently, like bananas
Wow.
have potassium. Yes, they make you calmer when you're speaking or something like that. I was like, ah, now I know your tip. And Sadiqa, please forgive me. I shared our secret. But like,
Yeah, Sadhika, and Sadhika is one of my best friend, and she is one of our guests too. And thank you for introducing me to her. And I asked this question, like some public speaking tips. She never shared this, like eating a banana before the talk show will help. But a very good point to be
yes,
noted. And if you say one message that you have taken along with you after visiting Dubai. What will be one thing?
move to Dubai. You have to move to Dubai eventually in your life. You have to stay there at least for 1 or 2 years. It's gonna make a whole mindset shift for you. You're really gonna grow. The people, and honestly, one thing I loved so much about Dubai that the people I sat with, no one cared about my age. Everyone just treats you as who you are as a person. Everyone is just there focused and on a point because everyone has a goal and they want to achieve it. So the thing is, if you're gonna help me, you are welcome. I'm gonna hold your hand and we're gonna do it together. So the thing is, Dubai is one of the best places to grow as an individual, as an entrepreneur, as an influencer. Basically, even now they're welcoming doctors and so on. They're even offering them golden visas. I've read many things about that. So the thing is, like, it is actually the place to grow. So if one advice I'm going to give anyone about Dubai is that you need to move to Dubai for at least like a year or two, build your network, build yourself, and then if you want to move out, that's your choice. But I don't think you're going to want to move out after being there.
And very, very important point, but I will differ a bit with you here. It's never 1, 2 years. I
Yeah.
also came to Dubai by thinking like I'll stay here for 6 months. 6 months has now become 16 years because
Oh,
Dubai is the place, firstly, because of its safety and the vision that the leaders of UAE carry. That makes Dubai
yes,
the
yeah.
difference. And as you correctly have notified in 1 month stay of yours in Dubai, like it's like everyone has a purpose and they are running for it and they have a clear purpose and they are so much convinced and very focused to achieve that and the support that they receive from the community, from the government, and from the from everywhere to especially for entrepreneurs to make it ease way of starting business and attracting investors over here. It is actually making the place to come and stay and to earn their livelihood. Excellent,
Absolutely.
excellent tips. And I think your observation are bang on for that. And saying that, I'll move to India. What is one thing that you have learned from India, and how you have like incorporated culture of India in any of your lifestyles or your business skills or your personal skills?
Very, very good question. What I'm wearing actually is a kimono from India. So the thing is, I was so inspired with the fashion there. I have to admit, the colors that you're using, oh, they're amazing. But if one thing I have learned really from India is the simplicity. So the thing is, one thing that, and at the same time, never judge a book by its cover. So I think most of us do have a specific representation of how India is, but I promise you, if you go there, it's a complete different story. First of all, I think it's the most country I've been in, even like more than Dubai, even more than Egypt. I even went to Malaysia. Malaysia is to some certain extent, but with India, they are very, very sustainable. So the thing is, like literally, when I was going to the 5 stars hotel or 3 stars hotel, the water that they're using is literally sustainable, like even literally in the toilets, for example. So I was really impressed with how sustainable. Oh my God. When I was in, I think, Indigo, this was my first culture shock, is because when they gave me the spoons and they were wood. I have never
Yeah.
ate with wooden spoons before in my life. And I asked them, what is the reason for that? So they were like, we really care about the environment. So I'm just like, why isn't this more supported in the world? Like, why aren't they just serving? Like, see, it's such a small difference, but it can make a
Mm.
huge impact. So I was really impressed about one thing, that even though with all the economic issues that India may be facing, but the people themselves, even the people, literally the locals, not just like big corporates or so on, everyone do care about sustainability. Everyone really care about, I think even cutting trees there is illegal or something like that. I have read many things when I went there, but one thing I was really surprised with is that people really do. Oh yes, another thing, people are very, very polite. I think this was one thing that I didn't think I would face there. Whenever I go to a new country, I'm just like, how are the people there? Like, I never know. So one thing I was really surprised, everyone is super, super polite to you. People really do treat you with respect when they are talking to you. They're always trying to do what's best, and they're trying to support you. And even if they don't understand your language, oh my God, I will never forget that one time I was in the hotel and I wanted coffee and the person didn't understand me. And he had so much patience. He didn't mind changing my order. He didn't mind doing it again and so on. And I found that like extremely sweet. And he was just like doing like this. And when someone does this to me, I don't know what to do. I panic. I'm like, oh, okay, hi. I'm like, no, don't do that. But apparently, it's a form of respect in the Asian countries, because I think Japan even have something similar to that. Uh,
Yeah, betting
yeah,
forward. So
definitely. So I think the respect part, the politeness part, sustainability, definitely they're top number one. And imagine that they have this from. Oh yes, one important thing that was, people don't carry cash there. Everyone scans QR codes or something like that. And I was just so. And by the way, this is even if you're buying something from the street. So I think it's called
yes,
PayTM or something like that. So if you're just passing
ATM.
by, yes, exactly. So the thing is, this was one of the most, you won't even find this in European countries, by the way. So the thing is, they are really, really advanced in some things, but they don't get enough credit for. And this is the sad part. That's why I made sure to include these things in my videos, so I can highlight the good parts of people, of things that are happening in India that are really not enough spoken about. But yes, no,
Yeah,
that was a
and
really good
one
question.
thing, definitely, and one thing I will add to your observation about India is so brilliant. And one more thing you missed to tell is about the food. So
Oh, of
in India,
course. No need to
anywhere,
mention that.
so anywhere you go, you will be offered food. Like, like
Yes,
be it
yes.
anyone, like they don't know like what is your palate, what is this thing, but still they will offer you spicy food and some
Yes,
kind of
yes.
food they will offer for sure wherever you go. And
I have to
extremely
say
like
one thing. Yes,
mm,
I'm so sorry, but I really had to add. I didn't even need to mention this because I thought like everyone knows like Indian food is the best. But I really have to be honest about this. I don't think I have had a single dish in India that I did not like. Like everything. Vegetarian, oh my God. Actually, because of me going to India, I almost turned vegetarian. I almost was like,
oh,
okay, the food is so good. I can't, like, I have to, I can actually stay literally vegetarian like this. Uh, so yes, literally, I can't even think of one dish I ate that I did not like, or I thought like, this could have been had more salt or
spice
better.
level. Did you like
Oh
the
no.
spice level?
I would always request that they tone it down. I mean, I like spicy food in general, but I always ask them like, please tone it down a little bit, so it's not like too much for me. Because I have to admit one thing: the Indian spicy is not like normal spicy. So be careful out there when you go there. Be careful.
So normal spicy is the highest level of spiciness in India. Yeah. So
Yes, exactly.
brilliant. That's the, like, all these memories you are capturing. Like, where do you capture all these memories? And are you planning to put all these memories of yours in form of a book or in form of a video? Like, how you are going to capture all these experiences, memories of yours?
Well, one thing I am doing is definitely documenting all of it on YouTube. But yes, inshallah, I will write a book, and this book is gonna talk about the balances of life, and travel definitely is going to play a huge role in my learning process and what I will be sharing in the book. Even like some things that I've seen that I don't really talk about out loud, I'm going to make sure to include it in that book. But for the time being, I try to journal my experiences and full honesty, because I do share both the good and the bad with my audience on YouTube. So this is what I'm doing at the time being. Like, YouTube really became a passion for me, and I'm learning how to do proper storytelling. So I'm like learning that from you. I'm learning that from Sadiqa as well. But overall, yes, I do love to share my memories out there for people to kind of learn before going to this place, and also be aware about something if they weren't aware before. So like the sustainability in India is something really that's not known about India. So now that I saw it there and how strong it is, even from like literally the smallest seller on the street would behave in a way that is sustainable all the way until big corporates. So it's something in their cultures that they care about the environment.
Brilliant. And can you tell our audience how they can reach out to all this, all to your YouTube channels where you are sharing all the experiences across the globe?
Absolutely. So the thing is, you can find me anywhere on Sundus Amdadal or just Amdadal. You can search that on YouTube and you will find my videos there. I did like, I think, three, four, and by the Indian people are so supportive. Like, I think the one video I have that went viral was because of Indian people. And they were like recommending for me what to have. You have to have ashwagandha, you have to have, I don't know what. So really, you should check out my Indian vlogs and my other vlogs as well on my YouTube channel at Sundus Amdadal.
Excellent. And my last question before we sign off, we always say that our network is our net worth. Yeah. So
Yeah.
as per you, what is your net worth and why you feel that, like, how do you justify the statement?
Okay, I'm gonna justify the statement in two parts, okay? And probably the second part is the juicy part people are willing to hear. But the thing is, let's talk about the first part. So for the first part of your network is your net worth, is that okay? I think we've heard this sentence a lot from our parents, is that if you're sitting with two smokers, you're going to be the third one. And if you're sitting with two millionaires, you are going to be the third one. So, as I told you, imagine that I was sitting with this person who just mentioned they lost $3 million. They went back to work. They came back after 3 years. They built their business and they made $10 million. If I sit with two more people like this, I'm going to think of a business idea. I'm going to have them as mentors and they're going to help me. And then I'm going to make my business successful. Like, for example, I'm surrounding myself with you. I'm learning more from you every single day. I'm learning more from all the entrepreneurs that I have met from Dubai, and they're guiding me. They're like, older than me, they're more educated than me, they're also more experienced than me, and they're like, so just let's do this. No, it's better if you do that. We can support you in this. So then I'm gonna become one of you guys at some day. So this is one. Now the second part, where I think everyone is just gonna be willing to hear, is that okay, when I went to Dubai last year, I have, as I mentioned, I joined many groups. So the thing is, I do have a technique of where I can actually get my clients. And even though that was like 1 year ago, but I was able to generate clients just from this group. And now, like literally, I'm really proud to say this. I never thought that my top market for my clients is going to be in UAE, but surprisingly, it is. And it all came just from this one time that I went last year, not even this year, last year to Dubai. So Alhamdulillah, I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful for the opportunity that even took me there. I'm grateful to even got to meet not just clients. And I'm very, very happy about one thing, that my clients are literally my friends. So the thing is, like, they are really amazing and really supportive. And honestly, thank you as well. Like, you support me in many, many things that I don't even expect. And you always surprise me. So I am very, very glad to have you in my life.
It's all our pleasure, and we are waiting you to come to Dubai and to share your experience and to see how this kind of relationship and your network is increasing and improving, and you're making it like, we always say, as you correctly said, like with two smokers you become a smoker, with two millionaires you also become a millionaire. We always
Exactly.
say that you are the average of five people with whom you move around,
That's true.
right? So it's so important that how wisely you are choosing your network and how you are capitalizing on that. Usually I see like people, like I have learned from my experience, like usually before I used to go to different networking events and all. Then I could see that I was very busy in just exchanging visiting cards and all. But now, when purposely and mindfully, I think that how we can connect to each other, and you just place all the visiting cards, you will be surprised to see how you can interlink and interconnect and make it mutually beneficial. So it's not about just going, but I must say that whenever we are going to any networking event, just making mindful use of that network event and seeing like why you are going and what is the purpose of you visiting that and how you are going to utilize it in future. It might not be immediate effect, as you correctly said, your example, like last year you came and now you are getting. So it's not about that quick results is the easy solution. Never
Yeah,
ever. But consistency and relationship management is what Dubai has taught me too. So,
exactly.
wishing you good luck. Any last message for the Reengineered Club podcast?
Definitely, first of all, follow the Re-Engineered Club. They really got some cool content, and our team is working really hard to deliver the best podcast for you. So make sure that you're followed and subscribed and all of that juicy stuff because you're gonna be really inspired by the stories of the entrepreneurs that they come on board. Second thing is invest in your network. And by the way, if you don't have like even enough money to travel, you can do that from home. I have even started networking just from using apps like Meetup and LinkedIn, and I've also met some cool people online that I deeply hope one day I can meet. So invest so much in your network and be very careful who is your circle. Because as literally we just mentioned that if you're around two smokers, you're going to be the third one. If you're around two millionaires, you're going to be the third one. So make sure that you are surrounding yourself with the right people, the people who will give you a positive feeling. And positive feeling doesn't mean that they're always happy and cheerful. No, we're humans. We do feel sad and down. That's completely normal.
Getting
But it's more
feedback. Yeah.
exactly, this is really normal. And the thing is, if you're expecting to be around someone who's always happy, it's not normal. So no, I mean by that that not a person who passes through something bad and then just gives up on the whole world. Not just someone who's like super negative all the time. Like maybe they just won an award and then they're like, oh, but you know, my dress wasn't so nice today. Like people who are always negative, even when good things happen to them, these are the people that just distance yourself away from them because they will never see the good that is happening to them. And they're always not gonna ever be the person that you need them to be in order to grow. So I think this is the last message I'm gonna give out.
And thank you so much for your time, your knowledge, and your experience. And what is the next country you are traveling?
Well, I am deeply hoping I am gonna come to Dubai again. And then after Dubai, I'm planning to go to COP29 in Azerbaijan this year because COP27 is amazing. So inshallah, I'm planning to go and build another network to learn even more at that time. So yes, guys, go there. Go to COP29 and go to Dubai.
So COP29 and Dubai is in your next action plan. We'll
Yes,
be
inshallah.
waiting for you here, and thank you so much. And it was pleasure talking to you and to all our audience. Sorry once again for not making it out on live, but we make sure that whatever our purpose and intent was, we deliver it. Thank you so much for all your cooperation. And last thing, if you are not following or subscribing or commenting or listening to our podcast, then it's high time you come and listen to us and all our inspiring guests, like Sandoz, like so many other guests who have come on my platform and shared their wisdom. Just listen to that and get inspired and share it with your family, friends to make a beautiful world of tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you
And
so
thank
much,
you,
Mado.
Sandoz. Thank you. It
Thank you
was
so
a
much.
pleasure. Yeah. And yes,
All right, goodbye, everyone.
goodbye and have a good evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.